Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for joining me once again for tea time. Today we have a green tea, a little hint of lemon, honey, and some ginger. Not bad. Not bad at all. So today is going to be a relaxed day. It's Friday. I'm just chilling out here. Just want to talk to you about something that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days now. And it's basically the idea of acquisition before composition. The number one, in my mind, the number one mistake that all amateur photographers and some professionals even make at image making, the idea of acquisition before composition. What does that mean? Basically, it's the idea of taking a photo and then later on composing that photo in post-production through Lightroom or your image editor of choice, okay? Instead of actually composing it first and then taking the picture. I believe this is the number one mistake. Now, I'm going to get into it a little bit and why it's so critical. But before I do, I want to just kind of tell you a story, just reminisce a little bit, take a look at the past, and you'll see where I'm going with this towards the end. Now, back in 2001, I had already been shooting film for many, many years, a decade or so. And I was moving into digital and I needed a professional camera, a professional digital camera. And I looked at the time to the Nikon D1, and it looked like a really good camera. And I looked also at the EOS 1D right around the same time they were released. And I was saying, well, I want to pick up one of these because they are pro bodies. They're expensive. Which one should I get? And there were certain things that I needed. I was shooting a lot of high-end gala events with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, a lot of famous people. And I needed to be able to have a quick turnaround time for them. And low light was imperative because a lot of these events were in just crappy light. So that was what was in my mind. I also did a little bit of sports shooting, but not much. So the main thing was the high ISO and, of course, to be able to turn the stuff around quick and be able to shoot quickly too. Now, I looked, like I said, at the Nikon, the D1, and it looked pretty good, but it had only 2.7 megapixels. It was a little bit low. Whereas the Canon at the time, the 1D, came with 4.2 megapixels. Wow, guys, right? Nearly 50% more megapixels. Now, for $5,000, I can go with the Nikon, or for $6,500, I can go with the Canon 1D. I ended up going with that Canon EOS 1D. And this is it, guys. This is it. This is 2001. 4.2 megapixels, built like a brick house. Probably weighs as much as half of a brick house. Anyways, this is the camera. This has seen millions of shots. Anyways, that's the camera. Now, just some interesting facts about it is back then with the D1 from Nikon and this 1D, neither of them had CMOS sensors. People were like, what? What do you mean? Yes, they had CCD sensors. And actually this Canon, the first professional Canon camera, this 1D, had a Panasonic CCD sensor in it, which I thought was interesting. Also, a lot of people thought that these were full frame cameras. Even though they use EF lenses, they weren't. They are not full frame cameras. They are APS-H cameras, which is one step below a full frame camera, just slightly. It's a crop factor of 1.3. They both were like that. Now, it did shoot 200 ISO all the way up to 3200 ISO, was really good at the time. And that's one of the things that I needed. I needed low light performance. It also shot 8 frames per second and was able to max out at 21 frames per second. This was a beast for media, right? For sports shooters, 21 frames per second. Nikon was able to do, I think it was like 4.5 frames per second, not even in the ballpark. Also, what was very interesting was this camera, unlike any other camera that has come after it, was able to shoot 1/16,000th of a second shutter speed, not 8,000th, 16,000th of a shutter speed. Also, the X-Sync, right? Its speed light, let's say sync, was up to not 1/250th, it was up to 1/500th of a second. Fast. This thing was blazing fast, absolutely blazing fast. They even at the time, we only had USB 1.1 at the time. They put FireWire into it so that we can offload quicker. It also at the time was the first camera to have a folder that would be able to take 9,999 photos, right? 9,999 photos in one folder. That was really big at the time. Now, this thing, like I said, is a brick house. It was built like a brick house. It's heavy. The battery is just about a pound, just under a pound. It is heavy, but it lasted. So the camera itself was just absolutely awesome. It was a workhorse, an absolute workhorse at 4.2 megapixels. At the time, I was shooting like Bocelli as well as tennis greats like Venus and Serena Williams. We had football legend Joe Namath, Broadway Joe. I was doing Don King. There was a lot of famous people that I was taking pictures. I even was taking pictures of people like the guy that moved in up the road from me about 20 minutes, who had like weird hair and now is the leader of the United States, Donald Trump. There was a lot of work that was being done with this camera, and I got a lot of use out of it. 4.2 megapixels, 4.2 megapixels. So guys, coming full circle, the idea of composition before acquisition, and the idea that I feel like this is the #1 mistake. Remember, if you, for example, have a 20 megapixel camera or a 24 megapixel camera, and you're doing a headshot, and you take the shot and you're maybe 3/4 body, and then you zoom in and you get that headshot. Maybe you have to zoom in 50%. Well, your 24 megapixels have now turned into 12 megapixels. People are like, why does my images look bad? Or why does my iPhone image look as clear or as detailed? Well, chances are you're probably using the same amount of megapixels with your iPhone as you are with your camera because you're zooming in and you're cropping in so much. Stop trashing those pixels. Get in there and compose first, then acquire. Compose, then shoot. Don't do it the other way around. You are losing pixels. You are losing resolution. A lot of people don't think of it that way, but it is very important. Back when we were shooting this, we had to think about it because every dot, every pixel was mission critical. Nowadays, we just kind of willy-nilly it and take a ton of photographs and then later on just can, let's say 90% of them. And the ones that we keep, we're still having to crop in a ton. Stop doing it. Compose, then acquire, right? Switch it around. Switch it around. Composition, then acquisition. And everything will be fantastic. You'll be getting more out of it. No matter how you look at it, you're going to get better shots, #1, because you slowed down the process. And #2, you're going to have more usable pixels, right? More usable pixels. So anyways, guys, I need to take a sip, right? So many of you guys said, hey, you need to drink your tea while you're talking to us because it's getting cold. And then by the time you're done talking to us, you're going to be drinking cold tea. So I need to drink more often. So this was kind of my little rant here for today. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you found it interesting. If you have, please throw me a big thumbs up. That would be awesome. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me. That would be awesome. So that's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. I am going to finish my tea and go and take some shots. Definitely not crop in. Anyways, happy shooting. Enjoy. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care. Blessings.